because this is the final thing from the impersonal self. When you have found the kingdom, you will likewise find your place in it, realizing now that you are in truth one of my divine attributes, that you are an attribute of this divine intelligence or God, just like any cell in your body is an attribute of you. Every cell in your pancreas and in your liver and in your nose and in your eyes has you in it. And its purpose is to let go of its individuality and to function in harmony with the whole that is you. You are an attribute of God. And your purpose is exactly the same as an individual cell within you, to let go of your ego, your personality. And when you don't do that, then you're a cancer cell, like in your body, which is so selfish that it wants to gobble up the cell next to it and the cell next to it instead of cooperate with the oneness that you are. The same is true of us. We are attributes of an impersonal self. And our goal is to let go of our individual ego and to function in harmony with this source. When you have found the kingdom, you will likewise find your place in it, realizing now that you are in truth one of my divine attributes, that your work was all laid out for you from the beginning. You signed up for it. Just like your body was all lined up from the beginning. And that all that has gone before has been but a preparation and a fitting of your human personality for that work. The laws of the material world do not apply in the presence of the God realized. When you reach God realization, when you align with your impersonal self, all of the rules and the laws that you think of, like this is where Christ consciousness was. This is the life of Jesus. Someone who lived at a place of God realization. I wrote a lot about it in Wishes Fulfilled. The study of this, the ability to heal instantaneously. Is Anita in the room? Anita Morjani? Are you here? She'll be speaking, I think, this afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. She wrote Dying to Be Me. I wrote the forward to that. I mean, her and I have been doing I Am Light seminars. We did one in Portland just a few weeks ago. We're doing a couple in Australia. She will be able to tell you, when you reach God realization, she was dead. She had a few hours left to live. And not only did she come back after a near-death experience, but she saw the light. She was in the light. And she saw her body being healed. And now today, and no one who's ever had end-stage cancer at the level that she had it has ever even survived. Within 5 weeks of when she awoke from the coma, watching her limp body there, which she did not want to even go back into, she was cancer-free. And now today she travels the world speaking about it. She's an amazing walking, talking, breathing miracle. And we're honored to be on the same planet with her, let alone the same the same stage. I love her dearly. The moment men, this is from the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, Volume 2. The moment men become free from the belief that they are mere human beings, subject to human laws of life and death, and the limitations which human beings have imposed, that moment they will see that they are free from all human limitations and may become sons of God if they will. The moment they realize they are divine, they are free from all limitations and possessed of the strength of divinity. And man knows that this divinity is the place where being comes most directly in contact with God. Man is beginning to see and know that this divinity is not something to be injected into each from without. He is beginning to know that it is the very life of each and every human being. It's in every one of us. It's in every one of us. It's in every one of us. We all share it.
You were never born to simply survive. You were not sent here as a mistake to be corrected or a problem to be solved. You arrived in this world as a spark of the infinite, clothed in flesh, yet never truly separate from the source that breathed you into being. Long before the noise of the world told you who to be, what to fear, and what you lacked, there was only silence. And in that silence there was knowing. And in that knowing there was divinity. You are not your resume, you are not your past, you are not your roles, your relationships, or even your reputation. Strip it all away, peel back the layers of fear, the costumes of ego, the armor of self-doubt, and what remains is something eternal, something vast, something holy. You. To remember your divine origin is to awaken from the trance of separateness. The world has tried to convince you that you are just a body, just a mind, just a story unfolding on a linear timeline. But look deeper. Feel into it. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. You are not a wave trying to become the ocean. You are the ocean pretending to be a wave for a little while. And when you know that, truly know it, you stop grasping for wholeness in things that can never make you whole. The trees do not struggle to be tall. The sun does not compete to shine. The stars do not hustle to earn their glow. They simply are. And so must you remember what it means to be. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to remember yourself. And when you remember, you return to peace, to grace, to presence. That is the path of the divine. Every fear, every wound, every moment of suffering is not a punishment. It is a call to wake up, a signal that you have wandered from your truth and bought into the illusion that you are separate from love itself. But you are not. You never were. The pain you feel is not proof that you are broken. It is evidence that your soul is still alive beneath the noise, yearning to come home. You are a divine creation. Not later, not once you've healed, not once you've succeeded, not once you've found someone to love you back. Now, in this breath, in this moment, with all your cracks and questions and unfinished prayers, you are already holy, not because of anything you've done, but because of who you are. And who you are is the beloved of the infinite. You did not come into this life to accumulate identities like trophies. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion or to earn love through sacrifice. You are here to shine, not as someone better than others, but as someone finally remembering there was never anything wrong with you to begin with. You were not born flawed, you were born forgotten. Forgotten of your divine essence, because the human story has a way of wrapping our wings so tightly we forget we were ever meant to fly. But hear this deeply. You are not your trauma. You are not your history. You are not the names you were called or the failures you've carried like shackles. You are a soul wrapped in skin, light disguised as a person. And no amount of pain, judgment, or rejection can remove that light from you, only veil it. And even behind that veil, the light still shines. You have been told that you must find yourself, but I say, how can you find what was never lost? You are not something to locate, you are something to remember. Remembering is not about going back. It's about waking up to what has always been present. It is the act of saying, I am not my thoughts, I am not this fear, I am not this story I've been looping for years. I am something deeper, something eternal, something divine. When the ego leads, you feel fragmented. You feel like you are never enough because the ego feeds on deficiency. It whispers, you'll be worthy when, and it moves the finish line every time you get close. But your soul does not speak in conditions. Your soul says, you already are. Not someday. Not when your life looks different. Not when your past is rewritten. Now. Always now. The soul knows no future or past. It only knows presence. And in presence, there is peace. The war you've been fighting has never been with the world. It's been with your forgetting. You're forgetting of your sacredness. You're forgetting that you are not a mistake in progress. You are a miracle unfolding. And each breath is a return. Do you know what it feels like to be whole? It feels like surrender. It feels like letting go of the heavy need to be more, to be fixed, to be validated. It feels like standing in the center of your being and declaring this right here is enough. And in that moment, you are free. Not because anything has changed around you, but because something has changed within you. The veil has lifted, if only for a moment, and you remember, oh yes, I am divine. Not because of what you do, but because of what you are. And this isn't poetry. This is physics of the spirit. You are energy, you are vibration, you are the frequency of the infinite expressing itself as a human being. What you believe about yourself echoes through the field of your life. And so if you believe you are separate, you will see walls. If you believe you are broken, you will find wounds. If you believe you are not enough, you will chase validation endlessly. But if you believe even softly, even for a second, that you are a divine creation, everything begins to shift. Not because the world changes first, but because you do. And your outer world is only ever a reflection of your inner weather. You have been given this life not to suffer through it, but to awaken within it. You are not here to master the art of pretending. You are here to remember the art of being. Being real, being whole, being love without needing a reason, without seeking permission. Because that is your truest nature. And all the striving, all the proving, all the noise that drowns your stillness, it is only the world's way of keeping you asleep to that truth. But no matter how long you've forgotten, you can remember now, right now, because the divine doesn't measure time. It only measures awareness. You don't need to wait until you've cleaned up your life to wake up. You don't need to wait until all the wounds are gone, or the pain is silenced, or the chaos is resolved. The awakening begins not when you escape the storm, but when you realize you were the calm center of it all along. The power is not outside of you. It never was. You are not missing anything. You are simply misidentifying with what you are not. You are not the voice that says you are unworthy. You are the awareness that hears that voice and knows it's a lie. You are not the fear that rises in the dark. You are the light that sees through it. You are not the past that haunts you. You are the presence that survives, it transforms, it transcends it. Every experience you've endured, no matter how painful, has been the sculptor of your spirit. The heartbreak, the loss, the betrayal, the abandonment, they were not punishments, they were doorways, invitations, moments that cracked the shell of your identity so that the truth beneath it could begin to shine through. You did not come to this earth to collect comfort. You came to remember your power, and power is never born in ease. You are a divine creation, and that means you are not here by accident. You are not some cosmic coincidence. You are here because the source of all life wanted to experience itself as you. There is something that only your soul can give to this world. Something so holy, so needed, that you were summoned into form to bring it. And it isn't something you have to invent. It's something you have to unveil, uncover, return to. You understand how sacred you are? Not in a prideful, egoic sense, not in a way that elevates you above anyone else, but in the quiet, reverent knowing that who you are beneath the scars, the roles, the masks is infinite love made visible. When you begin to see yourself this way, life responds in kind. You no longer chase approval. You no longer tolerate the lies that shame you. You no longer give your energy to people or patterns that ask you to dim your light. Because now you know your light is not negotiable. It is essential. It is eternal. And it is not yours to hide, it is yours to embody. You didn't come here to fit in, you came here to radiate. You didn't come here to be small and agreeable and quiet your truth to keep others comfortable. You came here to be as vast as your soul will allow, to live from your center, and to teach the world through your being what it means to walk as love in form. There is a sacredness to your breath, a wisdom in your heartbeat. Every cell in your body vibrates with the memory of where you came from. You may have forgotten, but your soul has not. It has always known that you are an emanation of something divine, not because you've studied it or earned it or achieved it, but because it is the most natural truth of your existence. You are not broken, you are becoming. The caterpillar is not flawed because it cannot yet fly. It is preparing in stillness, in darkness, in surrender. There are seasons of your life where everything will seem to fall apart, where nothing makes sense, and where your old self begins to dissolve. Do not curse these moments. They are sacred. They are cocoon moments. You are not being buried, you are being reborn. And just as the butterfly must let go of being a caterpillar, you must let go of the false identities that kept you grounded. The beliefs that told you you're too much. The voices that said you're not enough. The masks you wore to belong. You are not here to be anyone else's idea of who you should be. You are here to remember who you already are. You don't need more fixing. You need more feeling. You need more remembering. Not remembering in the mental sense, remembering in the sacred sense. Remembering as in putting yourself back together. Gathering all the pieces you exiled in shame and fear and survival. Calling home the parts of you that were told they were unlovable. Gathering your own soul in your own arms and whispering, even this is holy, because it is. The divine doesn't only live in the polished, the pretty, the perfect. The divine lives in the mess, the cracks, the unraveling. God lives in your rawness. Spirit breathes through your tears. Grace shows up not when you feel strong, but when you've collapsed in surrender and realize you don't need to carry it all alone. That is when the sacred begins to rise. You are not walking through this life without help. There is a presence that walks beside you, within you, through it all. It may not speak in words, but it speaks in knowing. It may not shout, but it hums. That hum is the pulse of your divinity. You can hear it when the mind quiets, when the distractions fall away, when you rest into the stillness of your being. In that stillness, you'll hear the whisper, you are love, you always have been. No amount of striving can make you more worthy. No amount of guilt can make you more pure. No amount of validation can make you more real. The search must end not in exhaustion, but in recognition. And when you stop running and stand in your own stillness, you'll feel it. The remembrance, the reverence, the return. The soul does not speak in shame, the ego does. The soul does not speak in fear, the ego does. The soul does not say, earn your place. It says, you already belong. You are a divine creation, not because someone told you so, but because you exist. That alone is evidence of your sacredness. Your existence is the fingerprint of God. And the truth is, you've been carrying the light all along. It's just been hidden beneath the dust of forgetting. But even dust cannot diminish the flame. There is nothing ordinary about you, nothing random, nothing replaceable. You are the result of a sacred decision, a whisper from the divine saying, let there be this. And so you appeared, clothed in flesh, but made of light. And though the world has tried to convince you that you are just another face in the crowd, just another number in the system, your soul knows better. It always has. You didn't come here to be small. You didn't come here to conform, to apologize for your presence, to shrink your voice, to avoid discomfort. You came here to live with your heart unguarded, to love like it's the only thing that matters because it is. You came here to weep, to laugh, to dance barefoot through the chaos and still call it beautiful. You came here to be fully human, but never forget that you are fully divine. And though you may have wandered into fear, into doubt, into silence so deep it swallowed your voice, you have not been lost. You have only been sleeping. And now the time has come to wake, not in panic, but in awe, to rise, to step into the fullness of who you are with reverence, not to fix, not to strive, not to perform, but to remember. Remember that the stars do not apologize for shining. The ocean does not ask permission to roar. The moon does not dim itself when the clouds pass by. They all live in alignment with their essence, and so must you. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable in their own forgetting. Stop shrinking to fit into cages you were never meant to enter. Stop measuring your worth with rulers made by people who cannot see your soul. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be true to the one who created you, and that one lives inside you. This is not about arrogance. This is not about superiority. This is about sacred ownership, owning your essence, owning your energy, owning the fact that you are and always have been a divine creation. And when you walk with that knowing, your life changes. You begin to speak differently, choose differently, love differently. Not from ego, but from essence. Not from fear, but from truth. And here's the truth. You were created in the image of love. Pure, infinite, formless love, expressed now through the contours of your smile, the sound of your voice, the compassion in your hands. You are how the divine touches this world. You are how grace walks. You are how healing begins, not just for you, but for those who feel you, witness you, remember who they are because of your presence. So let your life be a mirror that reflects the sacred back into every heart you meet. Let your words be rivers of peace. Let your silence speak of depth and dignity. Let your being, just your being, be enough to awaken someone else's truth. Because that's what you are, a divine reminder, a walking prayer, a soul with skin on it. And when you finally stop fighting yourself, when you stop believing the lies the world sold you, you will feel it, that peace that doesn't need conditions, that joy that has no opposite, that love that has no edge. That is your home. And that home has always been within you. You are not here to chase meaning, you are the meaning. You are not a seeker in need of a destination, you are the sought. And every moment that felt empty was not a punishment. It was a space the universe left open so you could fill it with your own light. You were not created to hustle for love or compete for worthiness. That is the conditioning of a world that forgot how to look inward. But you are remembering, and in your remembering, you liberate not only yourself, but others who have been silently waiting for permission to do the same. Because when one soul awakens, it becomes a lighthouse. You begin to see with different eyes. You no longer look for God in the distance. You see God in the pause between words, in the laughter of children, in the wrinkles of the old, in your own breath, in the mirror. And this realization is not an achievement, it is a return to what has always been present beneath the noise. Your value has never come from what you do, it comes from what you are. And what you are is infinite. The ego will always say you are too much or not enough. That is its only vocabulary. But the soul speaks in completeness. The soul does not compare. It does not rush. It does not try to convince. The soul simply is. And in your stillest moments, when you are quiet enough to hear, it sings one song. You are whole. You are loved. You are divine. And oh, how life changes when you believe it. You stop fighting your reflection. You stop begging others to reflect what you refuse to claim within. You stop running toward an image of success and begin walking as success itself, not measured in titles or possessions, but in peace, in presence, in alignment. True success is alignment with your source. And your source is pure love. Not the love that depends on behavior or agreement, but the kind of love that has no opposite, no condition, no scarcity. The kind of love that says, even here, even now, you are sacred. When you align with that, you become unshakable. Not invincible to pain, but deeply rooted in the knowing that pain is not the end of you, that storms do not destroy the sky, and fear does not erase the soul. The tree bends in the wind not because it is weak, but because it is wise. So bend, but do not break. Feel, but do not drown. Cry, but do not forget that your tears are holy. They water the soil of your becoming. There is nothing weak about softness. There is nothing wrong with feeling deeply. In fact, your depth is your power. The world has praised the strong exterior for too long, but it is time to honor the interior world, the world of truth, of spirit, of stillness. That is where the real transformation happens. Not outside, but within. And that is why healing does not begin with revenge or control or validation. Healing begins with remembrance. And remembrance begins with surrender. Not surrender as defeat, but surrender as reunion. Surrender is not the absence of power, it is the presence of wisdom. It is the sacred act of returning what was never yours to carry. It is releasing the illusion of control and stepping into the arms of a presence that has been holding you since before your name was spoken into time. When you surrender, you do not collapse, you expand. You do not lose, you return to yourself, to your center, to the divine rhythm that beats beneath every circumstance, every chapter, every breath. You are not here to force your way through life. You are here to flow not with passivity, but with presence. Flow is the language of the soul. It doesn't demand or dominate. It listens, it aligns, it allows. And in that allowing, it receives. Because when you remember that you are a divine creation, you stop trying to grasp at life and you begin to let it rise through you. This is the great reversal. The more you chase, the more life hides. But the moment you soften, open, allow life floods in. Not because you earned it, but because you stopped resisting what already belonged to you. You were never separate. This has always been the illusion that you are separate from God, separate from love, separate from wholeness. But separation is not real. It's just the shadow cast by forgetting. And the light of truth dissolves it in an instant. You don't need to travel the world to find the divine. You don't need to cross oceans, climb mountains, or perform rituals. You only need to turn inward, sit in silence, breathe into your being, and there, in that holy space between the in-breath and the out-breath, you will hear it the echo of eternity, the remembrance of origin, the truth that has waited patiently beneath every distraction, every role, every mask. You are already home. You've always been. You are the breath of the infinite in temporary form. You are the silence behind the noise, the peace beneath the chaos, the clarity beyond the confusion. You are not what has happened to you. You are what survives it, transforms it, transmutes it. That is your gift, not to escape this human experience, but to fill it with the light of who you really are. The soul is not afraid of this world. Only the ego trembles. Only the ego needs to dominate, to defend, to hide. The soul trusts. The soul flows. The soul blesses everything it touches. And when you live from the soul, not sometimes, not when it's easy, but as a way of being, your life becomes a sermon without words, a prayer in motion, a sanctuary in skin. And others will feel it not because you are trying to teach them, but because your presence remembers them. And in that remembrance, they will remember themselves. You are not here to be a savior. You are here to be a space where others can feel seen, held, loved, simply by witnessing you love yourself. You are the medicine you thought you had to find. You are the answer you searched the world for. You are the presence you begged others to give you. And now you are giving it to yourself. That is power. That is healing. That is divinity realized. And now, beloved soul, pause, breathe. Not just to inhale air, but to receive this truth. You are not who you thought you were. You are not the story. You are not the pain. You are not the roles you've worn like armor. You are not the wounds you've used as identity. You are not the labels, the achievements, the mistakes, or even the personality you've grown so used to defending. You are the presence beneath it all. You are the witness, the timeless stillness, the sacred silence. You are the sky, not the weather. You are the ocean, not the waves. You are the awareness watching the play unfold. And in that awareness, there is no suffering. There is only being. And that being is divine. You do not need to become worthy of love. You are love. You do not need to search for peace. You are peace. You do not need to earn freedom. You are already free, but your belief in the illusion is what binds you. And now you are ready to unbind, to let go of the old identity that was formed in fear, in shame, in comparison, to no longer carry the burden of proving, to no longer apologize for your light, to no longer wait for someone to give you permission to live as who you already are. Because who you are is sacred, and it is time to live like it. Not in arrogance, but in reverence. Not in performance, but in presence. Not in noise, but in still, unwavering truth. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to explain it. You don't even need to shout it from the mountaintop. Your vibration will speak louder than your words ever could. When you walk as a divine creation, when you live with that awareness in your cells, the whole world shifts in your presence. You become a living invitation for others to come home to themselves. You become the mirror in which others can finally see their own holiness. You become the calm in a world obsessed with chaos. You become the light in a room that forgot it was lit from the beginning. And perhaps that's the very reason you were sent here. Not to be anything more than what you are, but to remember what you are and live it. You don't need a new identity. You don't need to escape your life. You don't need to wait for all the pieces to be in place. The miracle isn't waiting out there somewhere. The miracle is you here, now, aware, alive, awakened. You are a divine creation right now, even with your doubts, even with your scars, even with the mess you've walked through and the mistakes you've made and the grief you carry like a second skin, you are still divine, no less sacred, no less whole, no less radiant. You were created by the same source that paints sunsets, stirs oceans, births galaxies, and yet it poured its essence into you not to compare you to the stars, but to remind you that you are one. So return now, not to who you were, but to what has never changed, the eternal, untouchable, unbreakable light that you are. The soul that remembers, the presence that witnesses, the love that holds it all. Let that be your truth now. Let that be your home. Let that be your way of walking in the world. Not as someone chasing the divine, but as someone finally embodying it, because you are not becoming divine. You are and have always been a divine creation. And now you remember there is a truth that lies dormant within each of us. A truth that we often overlook in the chaos of our thoughts, in the turbulence of our emotions, and in the constant noise of the world around us. It is the truth of who we truly are. We are not separate from the source of our being. We are the very expression of it. We are not bound by the limitations of our past, our pain, or our circumstances. We are bound only by the beliefs we hold, the stories we tell ourselves, and the illusions we allow to define us. We often live as though we are disconnected, separate from one another, separate from the universe, separate from the divine essence that breathes life into every living thing. We believe that we are isolated beings, struggling to find meaning and purpose in a world that seems both vast and indifferent. But this is the illusion of the ego, the false sense of self that clouds our vision and keeps us in the dark about our true nature. The reality is that we are never separate. We are never alone. We are part of a vast interconnected web of existence, each of us a unique expression of the one divine consciousness that flows through all things. When we begin to understand this, when we begin to feel this deep knowing in the core of our being, we can no longer pretend to be separate. We can no longer cling to the illusion of isolation. We can no longer hold on to the false stories of separation that keep us small and afraid. You are the expression, not the separation. The moment we recognize that we are part of the whole, that we are not separate from the universe, but a living, breathing manifestation of it, everything changes. The world no longer feels like an enemy to conquer. The struggles no longer feel like obstacles to overcome. We see the world not as something outside of us, but as a mirror that reflects our own inner state. The universe is not something to fight against. It is something to embrace. There is no need to resist the flow of life, because life is not something that happens to us. Life is what we are. It is the very essence of our being, the force that animates us, the intelligence that guides us. When we let go of the belief in separation, we begin to trust the flow of life. We surrender to it, knowing that it is taking us exactly where we need to go. We stop fighting against the current, and instead, we flow with it. We move with the rhythm of the universe, knowing that it is always in perfect harmony, even when we cannot see it. This is where true freedom lies, not in the pursuit of independence, but in the realization that we are part of a greater whole. It is an understanding that we are not separate from each other, from nature, or from the divine energy that sustains all things. When we release the belief in separation, we begin to experience the freedom that comes from knowing that we are interconnected with everything around us. We are never alone, never abandoned, never truly apart. So often, we cling to the idea of being individuals, of carving out our own path, of creating our own identity. And while there is nothing wrong with being an individual, the belief that we are separate from others is the root of all suffering. The ego thrives on this illusion. The ego wants to convince us that we are alone, that we must fight for our survival, that we must protect ourselves from the world. It tells us that we are separate from others, separate from nature, and separate from the divine. And in doing so, it keeps us trapped in a cycle of fear, scarcity, and struggle. But the truth is that you are not the ego. You are not the separation. You are the expression of divine intelligence, the manifestation of the creative force that flows through the universe. You are not here by accident. You are here on purpose to express the unique qualities of the divine that only you can bring into the world. Your life is not a random series of events. It is the unfolding of a divine plan, a plan that you are a vital part of. This realization can be transformative. It is the key to unlocking your true potential. When you let go of the belief in separation, you no longer see yourself as an isolated individual struggling to survive. You see yourself as an integral part of the whole, as a vessel through which divine energy flows. You understand that your life is not just your own, but is connected to all life. Your actions, your thoughts, your choices have an impact on the world around you. And when you realize this, you begin to live with purpose, with intention, with a deep sense of responsibility and connection. You are the expression, not the separation. There is a deep peace that comes from this understanding, a peace that transcends the chaos of the world and the turmoil of the mind. When you know that you are not separate, you are no longer afraid of what happens to you. You no longer fear the future because you trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should. You no longer cling to the past because you understand that it is a part of your journey, not the destination. You no longer struggle against the present because you know that this moment is all you need. And in this peace, you find your power. You find the courage to step into your true self, to express the fullness of who you are, without fear, without hesitation, without limitation. You realize that you do not need to fight for your place in the world. You are already where you need to be. You are already whole. You are already enough. In every moment, you are the expression of the divine. You are the creative force manifesting through your thoughts, your actions, your words, your being. You are not separate from the world. You are the world. You are not separate from the divine. You are the divine. And when you understand this, you no longer seek to control life. You allow life to unfold naturally, effortlessly, and with grace. The moment you release the illusion of separation, you begin to live in harmony with the universe. You align yourself with the flow of life, and you trust that it will take you exactly where you need to go. You stop trying to force things to happen and instead allow them to unfold in their own time and in their own way. You become a co-creator with the universe, a partner in the divine dance of existence. So, let go of the belief in separation. Let go of the stories that keep you trapped in the illusion of isolation. Let go of the fear that holds you back, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Know that you are part of something much greater than yourself, and that everything is unfolding in perfect harmony. You are the expression, not the separation. And when you embrace this truth, you will live a life of limitless possibility, peace, and fulfillment. When you awaken to the truth that you are not separate from the divine, the very nature of your existence begins to shift. You stop seeing yourself as a mere observer of life, and instead, you see yourself as an active participant in the great unfolding of the universe. You are no longer a spectator of your own destiny. You are the creator of it. Think for a moment about the vastness of the universe, about the stars that twinkle in the sky and the oceans that stretch to the horizon. These are not separate from you. They are part of the same divine energy that flows through your being. The same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of the stars also flows through you, guiding you, supporting you, and helping you to realize your full potential. When you recognize this, you no longer feel small, insignificant, or alone. You understand that you are part of the same cosmic symphony, playing your unique role in the grand design. But so often, we allow the distractions of life to cloud this understanding. We allow our fears, doubts, and insecurities to tell us otherwise. The world tells us that we must compete, that we must separate ourselves from others in order to survive. We are taught to see ourselves as individuals, disconnected from the world, fighting for our share of the pie. But this is the lie of the ego, the false identity that convinces us that we are isolated, separate, and in need of constant protection. The ego thrives on fear and separation. It tells you that you must protect yourself, that you must guard your heart, that you must compete for love, success, and happiness. It teaches you that there is not enough to go around, that life is a struggle, and that you must fight for what you want. But these are not the truths of the soul. These are the lies that the ego tells you in order to keep you trapped in a cycle of fear and scarcity. The truth is that there is no scarcity. There is only abundance. And that abundance is not something that comes from the outside, it comes from within. It is the divine energy that flows through you, and it is always available to you. When you recognize that you are the expression, not the separation, you begin to tap into that abundant source of power, love, and wisdom that exists within you. You realize that you do not need to fight for what is already yours. As you step into this knowing, you begin to live with a sense of ease, of grace, and of flow. You no longer feel the need to force things to happen. You trust that life will unfold as it should, and you allow it to. You begin to see the synchronicities that guide you, the signs that point you in the right direction. You no longer doubt your path, because you understand that it is the path that the universe has set before you. There is power in surrender. Surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength to trust in the wisdom of the universe, to trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should. Surrender is the ability to let go of the need to control, and instead to allow the flow of life to guide you. When you surrender, you are no longer fighting against the current of existence. You are flowing with it. You are aligned with the divine, and you are at peace. This does not mean that you become passive or inactive. On the contrary, when you surrender, you become more active than ever before, but your actions are no longer driven by fear, ego, or the need to control. Your actions are guided by love, by wisdom, and by the deep knowing that you are part of something much greater than yourself. You are the expression, not the separation. You are not a small, insignificant being lost in the chaos of the world. You are the divine in action, the creative force of the universe expressing itself through you. And when you understand this, your life becomes a work of art, a masterpiece that you create with each thought, each word, and each action. As you move through life with this awareness, you begin to experience miracles. These miracles are not the result of effort or struggle. They are the natural outcome of living in alignment with the divine. When you stop resisting life and start flowing with it, the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Things that once seemed impossible become possible. Opportunities that you once thought were out of reach suddenly appear. Relationships that were once strained or broken are healed. This is the power of alignment, the power of knowing that you are one with the universe and that everything you need is already within you. The beauty of life lies not in achieving success, but in the realization that success is not something you need to strive for, it is something that you are. Success is not about external achievements or the accumulation of material wealth. True success is about aligning with your soul's purpose, living with integrity, and expressing your divine essence in the world. When you do this, the world responds in kind. The universe mirrors your alignment, and success flows to you effortlessly. As you release the illusion of separation, you begin to see that all of life is connected. You are not separate from the people around you. You are not separate from nature. You are not separate from the divine. Everything is interconnected, and every action you take, every thought you think, and every word you speak ripples out into the world, affecting everything in its path. This is the law of cause and effect. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every choice you make sends out a vibration into the universe. That vibration comes back to you in the form of your experiences. When you align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the truth of your divine nature, you begin to experience a life that reflects that truth. You attract abundance, love, and joy, not because you are seeking them, but because they are the natural expression of who you are. You are the expression, not the separation. And when you embrace this truth, you begin to live a life of purpose, of peace, and of unlimited potential. The fear that once held you back dissolves, and in its place, there is only love. The love that flows from the divine, the love that connects all things, the love that is your true nature. So, take a deep breath and remember who you are. You are not separate from life. You are life. You are not separate from love. You are love. You are not separate from the divine. You are the divine in action. And when you live from this truth, there is nothing that can stand in your way. You are free. You are powerful. You are limitless. Embrace the truth that you are the expression, not the separation. And in doing so, you will experience the peace, the love, and the freedom that comes from living in alignment with your true self. When you truly grasp that you are the expression, not the separation, you realize that everything you've ever sought has already been within you. There is no destination, no final place you must reach, no long road to travel. The journey is not outside of you. The journey is within. It has always been within. All of your desires, all of your dreams, all of your aspirations, they are not far off in the distance, waiting to be earned or won. They are the natural unfolding of your true essence, already within you, already alive, already waiting to be expressed. But so often, we place our dreams on a pedestal outside of ourselves, imagining that we must do something extraordinary or achieve some grand thing in order to attain them. This belief in separation, this sense of needing to fight, to chase, to prove ourselves, is what keeps us from realizing the truth. The truth is that you are already enough. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to become someone else, someone better, someone more deserving. You are deserving right now as you are. You are the living expression of divine love, of the intelligence of the universe, and of the infinite possibility that flows through every living thing. When you understand this, when you feel it deep in your bones, everything shifts. The pressure you've placed on yourself to succeed, to become, to reach the top, begins to dissolve. You no longer feel the need to chase anything. You are no longer running. You are simply being. You are being the highest expression of yourself in every moment. This is the truth of who you are. The world does not need you to be anyone other than who you are. You are perfect in your imperfection. You are divine in your humanity. You are whole, complete, and full of infinite potential, and when you recognize this, your life becomes a reflection of this truth. And yet, despite this inherent truth, we often live as if we are still searching, still lacking, still incomplete. We allow the ego to convince us that we must keep striving, that we must keep pushing, that we must keep seeking outside of ourselves for the things we need to feel fulfilled. But fulfillment is never found outside of you. It is always within you, and the moment you stop looking for it, the moment you stop searching, is the moment it appears. The great paradox of life is that the more we seek, the more we struggle, the further we drift from what we desire. But when we surrender the need for external validation, when we release the fear of not being enough, the fulfillment we have been searching for comes to us effortlessly. This is the gift of realizing that we are the expression, not the separation. This understanding is the key to unlocking the peace that resides within you. It is the peace that comes from knowing that you are already whole, you are already complete, you are already enough. There is nothing more that you need to do, nothing more that you need to prove. You are the very expression of divine energy, and all that is required of you is to allow that energy to flow freely, to be expressed through your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your very being. You are the expression, not the separation. You are not separate from the divine. You are the divine in form. This is not a metaphor. This is not an abstract idea. This is the truth of your being. You are an embodiment of the creative force that has brought the universe into existence. You are the breath of life, the pulse of creation, the spark of divine intelligence. And when you remember this, when you truly internalize this truth, you can no longer live in fear, in doubt, or in limitation. The ego cannot hold you in its grasp when you realize that it is not you. The ego is the voice of separation, the voice that tells you that you are less than, that you are not worthy, that you must fight and struggle to find your place in the world. But the ego is not who you are. You are the soul, the eternal, divine essence that transcends the ego and all of its illusions. When you awaken to this truth, you transcend the limitations of the ego. You stop identifying with its stories and its fears. You stop allowing its voice to define your worth. You are not the thoughts that arise in your mind. You are not the emotions that pass through your body. You are the stillness behind those thoughts and emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. And when you identify with this awareness, when you see yourself as the observer, you no longer react to life from a place of fear. You respond from a place of wisdom, compassion, and love. You begin to understand that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Everything that occurs in your life is a reflection of the energy you are radiating into the world. If you wish to change your experience, you must first change your internal state. When you shift your thoughts, you shift your reality. When you release the belief in separation, you align yourself with the truth of your divine essence, and the world begins to reflect that truth back to you. The moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you surrender to the flow of life, you enter into a state of peace and power that cannot be shaken. You realize that you are not a passive observer in the grand scheme of things. You are an active participant, a co-creator with the universe, shaping your reality through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. You are the expression of divine energy, and everything you need is already within you. When you let go of the illusion of separation, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all things. You see that everything in the universe is bound together by the same energy, the same intelligence, the same love. There is no us and them. There is only we. And when you realize this, your relationships with others change. You no longer see them as separate beings, struggling to find their way. You see them as reflections of yourself, each one a unique expression of the same divine source. In this awareness, you find deep compassion and love for yourself and for others. You no longer judge or criticize. You no longer hold on to resentment, anger, or blame. You understand that we are all on a journey, all seeking to remember the truth of who we are. And in this understanding, you find freedom, the freedom to be yourself, to express yourself, and to live a life of love, peace, and fulfillment. You are the expression, not the separation. You are the living, breathing manifestation of the divine. You are not alone. You are not separate. You are one with the universe, one with all of creation, and you are enough. This is the truth that will set you free. When you embrace it, when you live from it, you will experience a life of endless possibility, love, and joy. You will become a radiant expression of the divine, a beacon of light in a world that so desperately needs it. So, let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of the belief in separation, and step into the truth of who you really are, the expression of divine love, the embodiment of infinite potential. You are not separate from life, you are life. And when you live from this truth, you will experience the fullness of all that you are. You see, the path to inner freedom does not lie in the seeking, in the striving, or in the endless chasing. The path to inner freedom is found when we stop running and start resting in the truth of who we are. It is found when we stop trying to control the currents of life and instead surrender to the flow. It is found when we cease to define ourselves by the stories of lack and limitation and instead remember the truth of abundance and infinite potential. There is a quiet power that emerges when we stop searching for validation outside of ourselves. A deep, unwavering strength that arises from knowing we are enough. Not because we've earned it, not because we've accomplished something monumental, but simply because we exist. Simply because we are expressions of the divine, co-creators of the life we live, capable of birthing new worlds with each thought, each choice, each action we take. You are the expression, not the separation. You were never separate, never apart. From the moment you took your first breath, you were connected to the vast, infinite source of life. You were connected to the universe in its totality. The stars that you look upon at night, they are within you. The earth beneath your feet, its very essence is your essence. The winds that whisper through the trees are the same winds that carry your breath. The moment you acknowledge this truly, deeply, and without doubt, something shifts within you. It is as if a veil is lifted, and what was once hidden is now revealed. You see the world with new eyes, and the world sees you for who you truly are. No longer bound by the chains of the ego, you are free to live in alignment with the divine. You are no longer the fractured pieces of a puzzle trying desperately to fit together. You are the whole. You are the one. You are the breath of life, unfolding as it was always meant to. In this realization, there is an overwhelming peace that washes over you. It is the peace of knowing that you are part of something far greater than yourself. The peace of knowing that the worries and struggles of the ego are nothing more than fleeting illusions. It is the peace of surrender, the peace that comes when you release your grip on the outcome and allow life to unfold in its own time and in its own way. The soul has no need to struggle. It has no need to strive. It is already whole. already perfect, already free. And when you embrace this truth, when you allow the soul to guide you, you step into a state of being that cannot be shaken. You move through the world with grace, with ease, and with a profound sense of inner knowing that all is well. In this state of peace, you are no longer concerned with what others think of you. You no longer seek external validation because you know that the only validation that matters comes from within. You are not defined by your possessions, your titles, or your achievements. You are defined by the very essence of your being, the divine spark that lives within you, the infinite potential that flows through you. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to express your truth, to live authentically, and to shine your light into the world. When you let go of the illusion of separation, you begin to experience a profound sense of interconnectedness. You see that the joy, love, and peace you seek are not somewhere out there. They are within you, waiting to be uncovered. And as you uncover them, you begin to radiate them outward. You become a beacon of light, a source of healing and transformation for those around you. You no longer need to search for love, for peace, or for fulfillment. You become a magnet for these things, attracting them effortlessly because they are a reflection of your inner state. In every moment, you are the expression of divine love. You are the embodiment of peace. You are the living testament to the truth that there is no separation between you and the divine, between you and the universe. There is no us and them. There is only we, a vast interconnected web of life, each of us a unique expression of the one divine consciousness that binds us all together. And as you move through this world living in alignment with your true self, you begin to understand that you are not here to prove anything. You are here to be, to express, to experience the fullness of life in its myriad forms. You are not here to chase after success or happiness. You are here to live in the awareness that success and happiness are already within you, already yours, just waiting to be recognized. When you recognize this, you no longer seek external validation. You no longer need the approval of others. You no longer need to prove your worth because you know that your worth is inherent. It is not something you must earn. It is something you were born with. It is your birthright. You are the divine in human form, and nothing, no one, and no situation can ever take that from you. So let go. Let go of the need to control, the need to separate, the need to prove. Let go of the belief that you are anything less than divine. Let go of the stories that keep you trapped in fear and doubt. Let go of the fear of not being enough, of not having enough, of not doing enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. You are the expression, not the separation. Feel this truth in the depths of your being. Let it resonate within you. Let it echo through your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And as it does, you will begin to live a life of unparalleled peace, power, and freedom. You will live a life that is not defined by external circumstances, but by the unshakable truth of who you are, the divine, eternal expression of love and light. And in this knowing, in this profound understanding, you will find your home. Not in some distant future, not in some external achievement, but right here, right now, you are home. You are whole. You are free. You are the expression, not the separation. And in that truth, you are finally free to be who you were always meant to be.